Want to welcome you into another car and track session, and this time from deep in the heart of pine country in North Carolina. That's right, we're here to cover the 9th annual running of the Carolina 500 here at North Carolina Motor Speedway in Rockingham. It's one of our favorite tracks. It's a mile long. That's considered to be the classic distance. And when you start a whole group of late model stockers, top cars, like we've got here today, you're in for one whale of a show. We've got Cale Yarborough on the pole position. Richard Petty was the second fastest qualifier, and he'll start alongside. And back in the second row, David Pearson is back there, along with Charlie Glotzbach. Bobby Allison in the 5th position. So we've got them all, some big names. And get this, in the top 21 qualifiers, there was only 1 second difference in qualifying time. So it looks like an even, hard-running field here for this 9th annual Carolina 500. We'll be back to kick them off and push them away right after this message. A warm southern sun shone out of a brilliant blue sky as all cars pulled out of pit row for the running of this 9th annual Carolina 500. This event, like all others this year on the NASCAR circuit, has been shortened 10% or 50 miles. As a result, laps 1 through 49 will not be scored, and the race will start on the 50th lap. Cale Yarborough's fast time of 134.868 miles per hour earned him the pole position in the Chevy 11. 43, Richard Petty in the Mopar Dodge starts alongside. In the second row, it's 28, Charlie Glotzbach, and 21, David Pearson. Bobby Allison and Herschel McGriff occupy the third row. These are the leaders that bring this 40-car field onto the tri-oval. The green snaps down, and they're off. It was Herschel McGriff that veered off into the pits on the start. The accelerator pedal on his Dodge was sticking. Cale Yarborough leads Glotzbach and Petty onto the back chute. At the end of the first lap, it's Cale, Charlie Glotzbach, Petty, Bobby Allison, and David Pearson. Dick Brooks is the driver in the yellow number 32. He began slowing up in the third turn and now heads into the pits. Into turn 1, Allison drops a quarter in the Coke machine and gets enough wallop to pass Petty and take over the third spot. Yarborough has everything working in his car care Chevy, and he's stretching them. In the first pocket, Petty goes high. Pearson sees the hole and pours his number 21 Mercury through to move up to 4th. Front chute, Davy Pearson stakes a claim on 3rd place by passing Bobby Allison on the low side. Now it's Yarborough, Glotzbach, Pearson, and Allison. Off the high-banked 4th turn, Richard Petty jabs the Hemi hard, and on the tri-oval sizzles the numbers off Allison's Chevy. Richard is back in 4th. Cale Yarborough has the car to catch, and it looks as though Pearson may do it as he pulls up alongside Charlie Glotzbach, and by the time they arrive at the first turn, Davy has the second spot. Donnie Allison is the first to pit for tires and fuel. Back straight, Bobby Allison finds a hole underneath Petty and charges through to regain his 4th place spot. 21, David Pearson. He has that Purolator Mercury honking with the throttle on the floor and whistling Dixie, trying to close the gap on Yarborough. Richard Petty is the next car to head home for a rubber swap and a little gasoline. Junior Johnson's Monte Carlo, piloted by Cale Yarborough down pit row. He can use a set of new tires right about now. He's been running hard and leading this pack since the green flag. Bobby Allison comes in for the same reason. Pearson brings the Mercury in, and the Wood Brothers crew have the hood up. This could be bad since they don't usually overhaul the engine on a pit stop. Now Petty starts his move and passes Bobby Allison in the first turn. There goes Mr. Cool behind the wall. The Wood Brothers discovered a bad coil and put the Mercury to bed. This is a brand new car, and they have a few bugs to iron out, but you can bet it won't be long before they make victory lane. On the track, it's Yarborough, Petty, and Glotzbach. In the pits, Herschel McGriff drives his almost heaven Dodge behind the wall, out of the race. Meanwhile, Cale Yarborough screams at number 11 Chevy around this 1 mile oval like he owns it. Gordon in car 24 just blew the belly out of his Chevy, spun in the oil, lost it, careened off the wall, and finally came to rest on the apron of the second turn. Now the yellow flag flies. Many of the drivers are hard-pressed for tires and fuel, and pit row becomes the action center of North Carolina. Wrenches, wheels, fuel cans, and hoses fly as every crewman is determined to get his car out first. Each man has his own job, and they've practiced for hours to achieve this pit perfection. All cars serviced and back on the track, Bobby Allison is up front for the restart. He's actually 1 lap down. The official leader at this time is Richard Petty in the Dodge number 43. Chevy running well now, and he's trying gamely to unlap himself. Meanwhile, the Petty Hemi sounds better than ever. The 11 Chevy, driven by Cale Yarborough, is now running second, and the only car in the same lap with Petty. Entering turn 1, Richard passes Bobby Allison, and now he's 2 laps up on the Coke machine.
28, Benny Parsons' oil pressure went out. He headed for the pits, they found a leak, and Benny's ride for the day is over. That was Dick Skillen in the Chevy number 78, who lost it in the second turn, spun down on the apron, and heads toward the pits. But another yellow flag is out, and he won't be there alone. To better enable you to watch the perfection in pit performance, we filmed the following sequences in slow motion. Petty still holds the front spot. Number 11, Cale Yarborough, is in the same lap with him, but just barely. If Richard passes him, he'll put Cale one lap down. Both cars enter turn 3 side by side. As they jockey through the fourth pocket, Richard grabs the handle and fires the Dodge Charger underneath Cale to put the Car Care Chevy one lap down. Several weeks before this race, they put a new layer of asphalt on the track. This recapping caused more tire wear than expected. Petty and his crew predicted the day before the race that the track would get slick and set their Dodge up accordingly. In the early laps, it looked as though he might have made a mistake as Cale Yarborough's Chevy ran off and left the field. But as the race wore on, the track got slicker, and Petty got faster as other drivers dropped off the pace. He sets the red and blue number 43 right in the middle of the track as he comes out of the fourth turn for the last time, onto the tri-oval and under the checkered flag, winner of the Carolina 500. Cale Yarborough takes the second place money, one lap behind in the Chevy 11. Bobby Allison finishes third, 2 laps down in another Chevy, number 12. Fourth place went to Charlie Glotzbach, and George Fulmer picked up fifth. Just 2 weeks before this race, Richard grabbed the brass ring and ended up amidst the roses at the Daytona 500. To pluck off another super speedway win so soon just puts a little more icing on the cake. This checkered flag came wrapped around $15,525. Two of the people he'll share it with met him in victory lane, his wife and daughter. To Richard Petty, his 2 favorite queens. Volkswagen Dasher, Germany's newest entry into the American automotive marketplace. Completely unlike its older brother, the Beetle, it handles better, goes further on a gallon of gas, and outperforms any other VW ever built. Then, too, it even looks more like a car. They shoved the rear seat back to give the occupants a little more leg room. This decreased the trunk space, so on a trip you carry the small bags. And look, the engine is up front, a 4-cylinder overhead cam, water-cooled power plant, and it drives the front wheels. In the acceleration tests, the front wheels pulled us off the line and ran the needle to 30 in 3.5 seconds. the second try, our Dasher had 45 miles an hour in 6.7 seconds. This one had the 4-speed manual shifter and was considerably quicker than the model with automatic transmission. The 60-mile-an-hour run came 11.3 seconds after our driver popped the clutch and left the line. The car ET'd the quarter mile in 18.7 at a speed of 77 miles per hour. Passing times were not only adequate, but quite respectable. 30 to 50 miles an hour took 4.5 seconds. We clocked 50 to 70 in 7.9. When it was time for the braking tests, we noticed discs up front with drums in the rear. A VW with disc brakes, wowie. 30 miles an hour took 29 feet. There was no problem with straight line stops in this Dasher. With the brakes cold, this stop from 70 miles per hour ate up 189 feet of asphalt. Nosedive hardly perceptible. We made about 8 separate stops around the track to heat the brakes up for this last panic stop. Our driver leveled her off, hung the needle on 70, entered the chute, and hit the binders. The Dasher went 195 feet this time before coming to a halt. Straight line, very little pedal fade, an excellent stop. During the time that we had this car, we made 4 fuel checks and averaged about 33 miles per gallon. Under all types of driving conditions, from expressway to this type of running on the track. A front-wheel drive vehicle is made for a pylon course. They all run it well, and the Dasher is no exception. The weight distribution is approximately 60-40. The heavier front end caused a slight front corner dive at higher speeds, but rebound as well as recovery were very good. As an item of added interest, the Dasher has self-centering steering to keep it tracking straight in a skid situation. The engineering term is negative kingpin offset. If the front tire goes flat, the steering geometry turns the wheel that has more resistance toward the straight line path, thus keeping the car in line. We found the Dasher to handle very well on the track during high-speed cornering. There was little or no front-end washout, and it was almost possible to power it through the corners with a 75-horsepower 4-banger. Steering is rack and pinion, mounted high over the transmission, with a tensioner to adjust play automatically. For front suspension, they employ McPherson struts that connect to wide-based lower control arms with a stabilizer bar. Springs are made from tapered wire for balance characteristics under varying loads. We found the ride to be a little rough, and on a long trip, it might become annoying. Also, the body seemed to lack the strong, heavy feeling of solidarity. They've trimmed the weight of the Dasher to 2,100 pounds to develop a strong power-to-weight ratio, thus giving better performance. If you're getting divorced from the big car class, it's doubtful that you'll want to marry a Dasher, or for that matter, any other car in this category. However, if you're a little car lover, then this newest VW could consume about $4,000 worth of pages in your next payment book. Once each year, North Carolina Motor Speedway plays host to the pit stop race. It's that time when the spotlight focuses on the crews of the Grand National Division of NASCAR. Penalties add seconds to the actual time of the pit stop, as all crews will change 2 outside tires and add 14 gallons of fuel. Lenny Pond is up first and brings his Chevy to a halt. 6 men are allowed over the wall. However, only 5 can work on the car. The 6th man holds the overflow can to catch fuel spillage. Lenny's stop runs about 25 seconds and probably won't be fast enough to get into the money. $1,000 goes to the crew with the quickest time. $500 for second, $300 on third, with $200 going to the crew with the 4th fastest time. Moore and the crew have George Fulmer out in 21 seconds, but the officials find some fuel left in one of the gas cans and add 2 seconds to their time as a penalty. That makes the time 23 seconds. Penalties are given on loose lug nuts, fuel left in cans, cars running over equipment, men over the wall too soon, or too many men over the wall. Speed plus these penalties really put the pressure on the men. Another Chevrolet. This one, number 30, is driven by Walter Ballard. His crew goes over the 25-second mark. Darrell Waltrip slides his number 95 through the electric I-beam and starts the clock. Junior Johnson's car will be next, with crew chief Herb Nabb heading up the operations. Cale Yarborough is the driver. They've won this pit contest in the past, and they're out to do it again. Out of the pits, they had a sensational time of 19.626. However, when the officials checked out the car, they found an excess of fuel in one tank, plus 2 loose lug nuts. He penalized them a total of 8 seconds, bringing the time to 27.626. Here's the eventual winner, Bobby Allison's number 12, serviced by crew chief Bill Hamner. They not only won it, but set a new record with a time of 19.828 and no penalties. When the impact wrenches finished whining and the dust cleared away, Bill Hamner's crew picked up the $1,000 for their efforts. Second place went to car 72, driven by Benny Parsons, crew chief Travis Carter. Third place time went to number 28, Shelton Pittman, crew chief. And fourth to car 15, Bud Moore and crew. And if you think they were fast here, watch them on race day.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the Carolina 500 as much as we did bringing it to you. We'll be back next week, once again at the same time, so try and join us, won't you? And remember, we'll be back with more of the racing and the thrills and action that make autosports #1. Until then, drive carefully, won't you? All the pros do. Bye-bye.